Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our session of this program called as Back on Track. Today's session is going to be more around the mobility of your hips, mobility of your upper back, mobility of your low back. So, this session is going to help you to uh, get a lot of activations plus a lot of recovery at the end of this week. Okay, so let's start with the warm up. The first warm up is going to be a very easy warm up. It's going to be a diaphragmatic breathing exercise. Okay, so lie down on your back, face up. We all know we have been doing diaphragmatic breathing as our exercise in our break times. So, one hand here on the chest, one hand over the diaphragm, just above the stomach. For the diaphragmatic breathing, always remember breathe in with your nose, fill that air in your tummy, feel that diaphragm moving up and down, and try to restrict the chest movement as much as possible. Let's do 5 reps of this. Breathe in, hold there for 2 seconds, and breathe out with your mouth. Inhale and then exhale slowly with your mouth. Again. Make sure that your diaphragm is being used and not your upper chest walls or accessory muscles of respirations like scalene. Also, try to keep your shoulder as relaxed as possible. Give me 2 more breaths there. Give me one more. Good job, guys. The next exercise that we are going to do as a warm up is a very basic. We are going to do some core tuck in movements. Okay, again, be in the same positions, hands on the side, knees bent. Make sure your scapula is completely touching the mat. You're not lifting your scapula up. Now, imagine that there's a water balloon under here. You're going away from the water balloon. That's one movement in your spine where it's the anterior pelvic tilt. We are going to do some core tuck-ins and bracing the core up there by doing some posterior pelvic tilt and the core activation by tucking your transverse abdominis. Okay, so let's go. There you go. Count there. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax the shoulder as much as possible. 2, 2, 3, 4, 5. And 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good job. 2 more reps. Tuck in, hold that core as tight as possible. Pull your navel towards the spine. Relax. 2 more reps. Tuck in, keep holding. Stay as relaxed as possible from the upper body. Relax the scapula, relax the shoulder blades. 1 more rep. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hopefully, nobody was holding their breath while doing the core activations. That's done with the warm up. Let's start with the first exercise for the session. It's called frog stretch. Okay, it is mainly going to work on your hip mobility and get your hip agile and moving during any functional activity or even during certain um, sports like badminton, or if you want to go for a run. uh, Follows today's whole session as a good warm up so so that you're a bit mobile and then you're going and starting your day. Okay. So for the frog stretch, go into the quadruped position. All four, get some gap in both of your knees, okay? And then externally move your ankle with it. What happens at the hip joint is it's an internal rotation at the hip joint, okay? So you're gonna go where your knees are under your hips, okay? And you're gonna rotate it out, arch your back there, and try to sit. Rock to and fro. One, two, feel that good groin stretch. Three, four, five, six, seven, eight. Make sure you're not losing that arch there and you're not losing that anterior pelvic tilt. 10. Good job, guys. Let's do one more set of frog stretch. Same quadruped position. Knees a little away. Internally rotate the hip joint. When you see your ankles moving outside, and arch the back there and rock. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven. Keep maintaining the arch. 8, 9, and 10. Good job. Might have felt a good stretch in your groin area. Your hip internal rotators have been stretched and open up. For the people who have a lot of tightness in their adductors, might also feel a stretch in their inner thighs. Okay, let's move to the next exercise, which is called as an open book exercise. Okay, so open book exercise, for that you might need a pillow just in case. You can have a pillow also beside you. This is going to be working on your mobility of thoracic spine. Today's session is more about moving your proximal as well as a distal joint to it. So the distal joint to our low back is your hips, which are going, so that's why we are going to do a lot of work for the hip mobility, and we are going to do some work for the thorax. Okay, so go into this position where you're lying down. You can also use a pillow to rest your head onto something, okay, so that it's not tilted. Okay, now make sure you're going for a 90-90 position where your hips, knees, and ankle are in a L shape. Okay, now keep palms facing each other. Breathe in and open as wide as possible, and breathe out. Make sure you have enough space to do. There's some space constraints. I'm just moving a little in front. In case if you feel this is very, very easy, what you can do is the top knee can be bent like this, still in 90-90, while the lower leg is completely straight and stretched out. This will also try to give a little bit of stretch in your lower lumbar areas and will help you to open that facet joint. Okay, there you go. 2, and breathe out. When you're doing this, try not to lift your knees off the ground. 3, 4, 6, 7. Feel the good stretch in your lower lumbar area, your upper back. Open your chest up. Feel a good stretch in your anterior part of the shoulder as well. One more rep. 10, and breathe out. Come back. Let's do one more set on the opposite side. So this time you're going to lie down on your right side. Again, for making this more difficult as well as effective or to progress the exercise, the top knee is the one which will go in 90-90 position. The below leg can be as straight as possible. And open up again. 1. Breathe out when you reach your maximum limit. Okay. 2. It's kind of a very, very chill weather in Bangalore here. So these stretches are going to actually help you to kickstart your day. While there is a bit of cold weather and you do these exercises, you might also feel that your joints are making some sounds, which is completely fine. You need to do this mobility and open them up for the next upcoming winters. 5 reps done. Let's do 5 more. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good job. There we have done our open book. We are gonna take a 10-second break. We have 3 more exercises left for today's session. We'll take a 10-second break. Okay, let's start our next stretch that is called as pigeon stretch. Again, this stretch is going to work on your external rotation of your hip, get that good mobility in your hip joint, as well as stretch your external rotator and glutes amazingly well. In case if you find pigeon stretch is little difficult to do on the mat, you can also do it on an elevated surface of your office table, or take a bench and do it, and feel free to just get that stretch done, because this muscle, if it goes for tightness, the whole biomechanical chain affects, and then the load starts coming at your low back. Okay, so let's start with the pigeon. For the pigeon, what I want you to do is go in a quadruped position as the start. Now let's say we are stretching our right side. So you're going to take your right leg straight in front like that. Okay, and try to make it as parallel as possible to your mat. Okay, extend the opposite leg that is completely straight. So the left leg is completely straight, and right try to keep as much as parallel as possible. Now imagine you're a wooden plank, so not slouch there. Okay, you be as straight as possible. Move a little bit in front and rotate on the right side. The rotate on the side with the knee has been bent and kept. Okay, you're going to rotate a bit from the pelvis. The movement should be from the pelvis rather than from the neck or the upper body. It is more of your hips that will move. So move your left hip towards your right knee in a rotational basis. Okay, so let's do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good job. Let's switch. We're going to switch and do the same thing on the left side. Take your hip Extend your right hip as much as possible. Try to keep it as parallel as possible. More the tightness, you will not be able to move this into this position, but that's completely fine as a start. Okay, the opposite leg has to be completely straight. You feel a good stretch in your left buttock this time. Go down and rotate. Rotate from the hip. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good job, guys. There you have done amazingly a pigeon stretch. You can also do and repeat one more set on each side in case if your hips are really tight. So I felt that the hip mobility is a little bit poor for me on the left side when compared to the right. Sometimes you guys may also feel that one side is more tight than the other. Make sure you're doing always a set extra on that as a bonus, and to try to solve your asymmetries between your right and left so that your whole complete biomechanical chain is not off balance and everything makes sense at the end of the session. Also, when you're doing a lot of strength based exercises, it will not uh, it will make sure that you're not having any asymmetries on the mobility first, and then as well as show that on the strength. Okay, so I'm going to do one set extra for me on the left. If you guys feel it's the similar case with you, you can stretch your right or either the left, which you feel is more tighter for you guys. So I'm going to do one more set on my left side. Pigeon again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There you go. An amazing stretch, pigeon. The next exercise that we are going to do is a very, very easy exercise. It's called a lat stretch by using a chair. Okay, so you might need to grab a chair and then let's do this stretch. This stretch can also be done when you're in the office and you have busy days and you don't have, there's some kind of discomfort that you're feeling in your upper back or lower back, specifically upper back. You can do this exercise in the office itself whenever you have break. Okay, all you need is just a chair and a table in case if you're sitting on table, and if you have an access to a mat, get the chair on the mat and then do this exercise. I'm quickly going to grab the chair and come, and then I'm going to show you how to do this exercise. Just keep a chair like this, kneel in front of the chair. You can also use a stick or a rod to hold. You can just keep it this way, okay? So go into this position. Now the whole point is taking your chest towards the mat. Try to get that mobility in your lower back as well as upper back. So the whole point is to get it here. So push your chest towards the mat. Okay, so press your chest towards the mat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good job. You're supposed to feel a good stretch as well as a little bit of extension opening in your upper back, as well as in case if your lats are too tight, you will also feel a stretch along your lats. Okay, lats is latissimus dorsi. Okay, this is a muscle which connects your pelvis to the shoulders. It's a huge muscle, and stretching this muscle is really important, especially if you work for long hours on desktop. Okay. Go into that position again. Let's do one more set of this. 1. Push your upper thorax towards the mat. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good job. So there you need a chair and you're good to go to do a lat stretch like that. Okay. Just gonna quickly keep the chair again. We're gonna do the last exercise for the session today to work on again opening your hip joints. For this one, you're going to go in this position where you're kneeling like this and make sure your knee and ankle falls in same line. Now imagine that you have two lasers. I have taught this exercise before. We're doing this again today because it's more about mobilities in today's session. So you're gonna make sure that your hips are pointing in front. At the same time, you're trying to push your right knee back, absolute back in this direction, and then try not to move your spine or try not to lift your feet from there. Keep it all grounded and strong. Okay, so you're gonna go and push like this. Try to move on the opposite side. And now just rock. 1. Keep pushing the knee back at the same time. Try to align your pelvis and the hip joint as front as possible. Okay. It's 2. Keep pushing. 3, 4, 5. Get a good stretch in the groin area as well as in the adductors on the opposite side. 8, 9, one more, keep pushing. 10. Good job. Let's switch. So the right knee is going to be on the mat, the left is going to be at a certain 90-degree angle. Your heel, that is your foot, and the knee in the same line. Keep pushing. One hand on the back, one hand you will push the left knee this time. So keep pushing the left knee back. Make sure your hips are pointing in front and not moving in this way. Yeah, so keep pushing and rock. 1, 2, 3. Rock as much as you can. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Do not hold your breath. 9. Keep pushing it back. And 10. Good job, guys. Okay, so let's do a quick cool down also today. For the cool down, we are going to stick to the basic and most amazing exercise, segmental movement exercise, which is a cat and camel position. Okay, so get into that position again. Always concentrate on the segmental movement of each vertebra rather than mindlessly doing the exercise. Okay, so let's go in the quadruped position and start with your neck going down, your thorax up, your lower thorax, and you start moving your lumbar and going to an posterior pelvic tilt. Now start reverse the movement, going to the anterior pelvic tilt, followed by a spine movement. The lumbar spine will go as down as possible. Your umbilicus will move towards the mat. Your chest will be up. And look up. Let's repeat. 2. Feel every segment of your spine moving. Always remember, go in the order. So in case if you're starting from the reverse, then you will have to have an anterior tilt first, then the lumbar extensions, then the thoracic extensions slowly. Keep pushing the hands into the mat and then look up. Then start with the neck down. Keep pushing this thorax towards the ceiling, your navel towards the ceiling, and then go for a posterior tilt. You can increase the speed of that you're doing in the cat and camel, but make sure it's always segmental and it has to be done very mindfully. These are 2 more reps. One more. And relax. Good job. The last exercise for the cool down is going to be a very, very easy replenishing that oxygen stores in our body. Let's do the diaphragmatic breathing as the last exercise for the session. Bend your knees, one hand over your epigastric region, one hand over your chest. Relax as much as possible from the shoulder. Do not tighten them. Let's do a deep breath for the next 5 reps and get that diaphragm working. Two more reps. One more. Feel that air in your tummy. Good job to breathe out with your mouth. Relax. Amazing work. So there we have done with our session today. I'm just going to recap our session for the day. We have done some warm-ups initially, like a diaphragmatic breathing as well as core tucked in. You kept that core a little bit of active. Then we moved towards doing more of a mobility work, like your hip mobility, your external rotation, your internal rotation. We have also a little bit worked on your thorax, that is the upper thorax. We have worked on your lats stretches using a chair. We have worked on the open book. I've also showed you how to actually progress the open book. And then we did a little bit of cool down with the diaphragmatic exercise, diaphragmatic breathing exercise, as well as our favorite cat and camel. Okay. So in case if you have any doubts in this session, please feel free to just drop it in the comment box, and then I'm going to answer all of that for you. See you all, guys. Bye bye. Have a good day.